Hi, this is John Claman with IntelliFinishing. Hey, one of the questions that sometimes happens is people want to know about the energy efficiency of a finishing system. And yes, an IntelliFinishing system has a lot of motors that run the conveyor system and propel the carriers around the system. But most of those motors, depending on the model that we have a 500 series, a 1500 series, a 3500 series, and a 5000 series. But the motors are generally small and they're only controlling a short section of the track. And so, like our 500 series conveyor, which by the way can still hold up to 1,000 pounds of product per carrier, each section is propelled by a motor that's a half horsepower motor. And so we'll have a number of half horsepower motors on that system, depending on the system design. Faster systems will have more motors, slower systems will have less motors, less sections. And then the 1500 series or above, generally their motors are going to be 1 horsepower motors. So you can calculate what the actual energy efficiency of those motors will be. But one of the things that's often overlooked about that is that with an IntelliFinishing system, the motors are off more often than they're on. And that's very unusual. For example, with a monorail, usually turn the system on and that chain runs all day long. With an IntelliFinishing system, once you send a carrier to start its set of processes, the motor's only on as it moves that carrier across that section, and then it stops. And so the cycle time is important to calculate. For example, if you have a system that's processing 10 carriers per hour, then the cycle time is 6 minutes. If it's a 10-foot carrier, it might move a section at 20 feet per minute if it's a non-process area. And so it'd only take about 1 minute for that carrier to get across that section of track. The other 5 minutes in that cycle time, that motor is off. That makes the conveyor itself hugely fuel efficient or energy efficient, electrically efficient. But second thing that happens is that because our ovens and even our wash are specifically designed to work with our conveyor, they're very fuel efficient too, and particularly the ovens. Our carriers are above the ovens in most of our installations, especially any sort of powder coating install. So our carrier, as well as the support structure for the conveyor, are outside the oven. So you're not heating up all that carrier metal. You're not heating up a chain at all. You're not heating up support structure on a continual basis and wasting energy in your ovens based on that. And our calculations show that you can save 30 to 40% of your natural gas just because of that design feature by itself. Now, we do things with those ovens to mitigate heat loss through the split top of the oven, and that includes an air knife, sort of like a baffle system at the top of those. We also like to put doors on the ovens so that we can keep that heat inside the oven. And Midwest Finishing Systems, who makes our ovens, makes some of the most energy efficient ovens in the market. They're super insulated. There's no interior metal pieces touching exterior pieces on their modular ovens. So altogether, our systems are more fuel efficient, energy efficient, and we can also save potentially 30 to 40% over a traditional system design. Ultimately, that usually translates into maybe 200 to 400 or more $1,000 per year saved on a system. So we cost less to operate, we can produce more throughput than a traditional system, and we're more flexible than your other finishing systems and more modular. So maybe it's time you should consider an IntelliFinishing. Give us a call. Thanks.